This is just a little instruction on how to do the forelock, which is the hair that hangs down on the front of the horse's head. So note that the holes here on this little strap are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is come up through 2, down around a pencil, back through 4, then up through 1, down around a pencil, back through 3. So here's the little hanger strap, and then here is the horse. So what you're going to do is going up through. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail to tie off at the end. So leaving about a 1 or 2 inch tail. So then what I did was, before I go around the pencil, just go through here. That way everything's sort of tucked underneath this little strap. And then you're going to go around the pencil. So see how it's holding it on there? It's not completely all the way through. I lost my needle. Make sure you're using unwaxed thread for this, because the thread, if it's waxed, it'll get all stuck together and the hair won't look right. Okay, so I'm going to take the pencil like this, and all this does is provide a framework for the hair. When you cut it, you're going to, after you make all these loops, and they go back in through hole number 4. So there's the loop. Okay, so really what I'm doing is I'm adding a little loop of hair right there. I can make it a little bit longer for now and then trim it later, but up through 2, then around to 4. All right, now I'm going to go up through 1, and I'm going to go completely through all 3 pieces of leather. Keeping that pencil there. I'm going to go down through this, but not all the way through all the pieces of leather, because I want to do the pencil before I go through the other 2 pieces. See that little loop I made with the pencil? Let's keep the pencil in there. And then I go around that pencil and then back through that hole in the bottom piece again. All right, so you see I've got those 2, and now I'm going to continue on the same pattern up through 2. Don't loop it around the pencil there. Down through 4, but only through the first piece of leather, and then around the pencil. down through the other two pieces of leather on the back. There we go. All right, so we already did our looper on the pencil. So if you see what I'm doing is I'm stitching these three pieces of leather, the loop and the head, but between this piece of leather and the head itself, I'm adding just a little loop of string that I can cut later. So now I'm going to go back up through the top. And then down through hole number 3, but just through hole 3, just through the first piece of leather. Then around the pencil. And down through the rest of the leather, all the way to the back. So if you miss one and you forget to loop it around the pencil, you can always just add more loops. You can do this anyway if you want, but I like the idea of the forelock being tucked behind and underneath this piece of leather right here. So through the first piece, and around, and to the back. And it looks like I did not catch the pencil on that one. Well, I caught the pencil on that one. So you're welcome to try this any way you want. There we go. I'll do it without the pencil so you can maybe see it a little better. I'm gonna try to go up. Oh, I lost my needle. Come back up through 2. Down through that first layer of leather. Leave a little loop. This time I'm going to do it without the pencil so you can see it better. I just made a little loop right there. Now I'm going back in the rest of the other 2 pieces of leather. The other side. Create another little loop here, and then back in. So continuing to create these little loops, which we'll cut after we get enough of them. I'm going to come back through just the top here. Create a little loop of leather around a pencil or not, and then back through. the other side. And in my tutorial, or in my instructions, I put that I made 8 loops of leather when I made this the first time. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be number 6. Let's try 7. Another loop. Let's do our last one. Coming up on the other side. Again, for the final time. Coming through just that top piece of leather. Creating a loop that we'll cut later. And then back down through the other 2 pieces of leather. So you're not pulling that tight, you're just leaving those little loops there. So now you've got these little loops hanging down here to create the forelock, which we're gonna cut. But first, before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and tie this off on the back. I just pulled one of my loops. There we go. When you tie it, you don't want to tie real tight because you've got these loops hanging here. And I just pulled one of my loops out. There we go. You could always just build a tassel and then stitch the tassel on too. If you had a better way to do it, that would be fine. But that's the way I chose to make it. Let me snip off the back. All right, so now I have all these little pieces of forelock hair, and it's important to have this because that's what makes it really look like a horse. Otherwise, it looks like some other animal. So let's just snip these pieces of forelock right here. Take scissors. I'm gonna cut them. Cut each one of those little loops. And if I made the loops too long, I can always trim them. Give it a little haircut. Oh, I see one more loop. Okay. There's my little forelock on this guy. It's got his little hair there. Now he looks more horse-like. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that helps you. But you can see that all I did was go back and forth around these two, and then just between this piece of leather and when I went through the other 2 pieces of leather, I just made a little loop, and then I cut them. Good luck, and thank you.